If you want your point to be remembered, you need to use the echo effect. You see, when your point is compelling, attractive, and easy to recall, it echoes in your audience's mind long after you have spoken. Now, my name is Kyle Murter. I'm a public speaking coach, author, and champion. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can make your message memorable using the echo effect. Alright, to pull this off, there are 3 key steps. Step 1 is to define your message. This means summarizing your entire presentation in a sentence. And that sentence, and this is the hard part, has to be 10 words or less. The reason being, if your key message is 20 words, 30 words, 40 words, that's really hard to recall. No one is going to repeat that, and we want our message to echo. So it needs to be short and punchy and to the point. Probably the best example of all time is from this guy, Martin Luther King. What was his key message in his famous speech? That's right, I have a dream. 4 words which have been echoed for the last 60 years. That's what we're aiming for, right? That's the gold standard. We want a message which is going to be remembered. So it needs to be short enough and punchy enough. Give it a try. Step 2, make the message appealing. And what this means is making it attractive to your audience, because they're not going to embrace the message. They're not going to continue to repeat the message if they don't like it, if it doesn't appeal to them in some way. I was working with a client recently who's in charge of a sales team, and he wanted his salespeople to start using LinkedIn more, but he couldn't get them to do it. They were reluctant, they didn't want to do it, they found it too complicated, all of these problems. So we sat down and we started thinking of a presentation we could create that would inspire the sales team to embrace LinkedIn. And one of the questions we asked is, what do these salespeople care about most? And the answer was getting their bonus, their sales bonus, okay? So then we began to think, okay, maybe we could craft a presentation which highlights that. Maybe we could create a message which would appeal to them in regards to that bonus. So the message we came up with was, LinkedIn is the pathway to your next bonus. Now you can probably imagine that that message appealed to that audience because what they care about most is the bonus. And lo and behold, after the presentation, they started using LinkedIn more because they saw it as a way to get what they wanted. You need to do the same. You need to think about your audience, think about what they care about most, and see if you can include that in your sentence, in your message statement sentence that we've been discussing, okay? Because if you can include it, you're gonna make your message so much more appealing. Step 3, wordplay. This is where we try to make our message even more memorable by using some grammatical techniques. For example, you could use the power of rhyme. In the O.J. Simpson trial, O.J.'s lawyer had a great message, which really did stay with us for a long time. You see, there were things about O.J.'s case which didn't quite add up. There was like a glove, for example, which didn't quite fit in his hand. There was a hat which didn't fit on his head. Little things like that. So his lawyer came up with this sentence: if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Now 30 years on, that phrase is still remembered and echoed because of the rhyme. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. It's so easy to remember, it sticks in your mind. Another thing you can do is contrast. This is where you have 2 opposing ideas in the same sentence. A famous example for you, John F. Kennedy asked not what your country will do for you, but what you can do for your country. Now yes, that was 17 words, but he got away with the 17 words because he had contrast. 2 polar opposite ideas in the same sentence, made it memorable, and voila, we're still repeating it God knows how many years on. And there's lots of other wordplay techniques. There's alliteration, epistrophe, anaphora. I made a whole video on these rhetorical devices. You can check it out on my channel. But the point is, you can use these devices, use these techniques to make your message even more memorable. Make it stand out in your audience's mind even more. Now, this video should have helped you come up with that key message for a presentation. But of course, that's just the message. You've still got to create the rest of the presentation. And if you would like help with that, in terms of coming up with a compelling opening, making sure you're telling the correct stories in the middle, and ending with a compelling call to action, you might be interested in some one-to-one coaching. I will literally sit down, plan your presentation out with you, and then once you're comfortable, you can deliver it to me and I'll give you key personal feedback in terms of what's working in your presentation and what needs improved in your presentation. So if you're interested in leveling up your speaking through that coaching, it'd be great to hear from you. Send me an email at kyle@confidencebydesign.co.uk and I will get back to you within 24 hours. Happy message making.